Hey guys, Utmost Geek here. So I just make this second video for the day. Sorry I have to keep the fan running. It's a bit warm out there and in here. I thought I'd just give you guys a quick overview of my little, not little at all, but this is my virtual machine host and what I hope to use for my file server and everything. This is a Dell Precision T7600. Yeah, it's it's one heck of a beast. It's humongous. It's very heavy. And I thought I'd just give you guys a quick look. I'd say for size wise, it is roughly. Give us this moment. 20. Let's say 20.6 inches lengthwise and 8.5 inches wide, which is, yeah, it's pretty fat. It's pretty short and it's pretty long. Height wise, it's not that much. I'd say it's only 17 inches, yeah, which is really not that tall for a computer. Most of them are pretty tall, even like most mid-tower cases these days, which are M80X. It's got a good selection of ports here. Good old Jurassic period serial port there. No onboard video, so you gotta have a graphics card in, which is right here. And you've got your 1300 watt power supply, which is easy to replace. Just pull that. 80 plus gold rated, which is very nice, I must say. It's got some pretty loud ass fans in here. Yeah, big suckers. Down here there's a tiny little hard drive fan. And in this entire panel, this is basically separated down here. This side being for your hard drives, and this side being for your motherboard and CPU and all the rest of that good stuff. So yeah, I'll show you inside in just a sec. Ports wise, as I said earlier, it's only got one USB 3 here, just regular USB 3, and five USB 2s. And 3 more USB 2s at the front here. One of them being a bit screwed up there. And one more USB 3. Yeah. Also, it has cold solderable hard drives, meaning if I put the camera down like that and lift the thing up a bit and open the door, as you can see, which actually has a 5 1/4 slot here for another DVD drive or something like that. You can see your cold solderable hard drives and your 3 fans here. 2 are 60mm and 1 is 120 down here. And you get these brackets where you put your 3.5 inch or your 2.5 inch hard drives. Yeah, I'm missing one and they're pretty hard to find, which is pretty annoying, but these share parts with the more common T7600 and T5810, but that's other parts inside, as you will see in a bit, but not these cages, which is very annoying. So yeah, if you got these cages, hang on to them even if you're not using them. Here, as you can see, you can put 4. There's a kit that you can buy from Dell when this thing was new, back in 2013 or 12, whenever, I think, because this is Haswell era. And basically, you could have 4 2.5 inch hard drives here, and they'd be connected to your SATA controller, your SAS controller, whatever you're using. So yeah, It's pretty cool. I don't have that kit, and it's extremely expensive if you do have it. I mean, if you do manage to find one online. But yeah. So I'm gonna put this thing on its side now, and we'll go from there. Right, here it is on its side. I have to keep my phone on the cable just because it's low on battery. But yeah, it's quite a lot to go through here, so you're gonna have to give me a few minutes. I guess we shall start from the bottom. Here on this side you have a USB port for some reason. This is, I'm pretty sure it's it's an actual USB port, so that's strange. Usually some of these machines have a USB port as a like a service port for the technicians or whatever to upload BIOS firmware and all that. So yeah, I still won't use that. It might be a bit dangerous. Here is a tiny little, I think it was it's a Radeon, it's an ATI Radeon of some sort. It's only got like 256 megabytes of RAM, which is absolutely hilarious. I'm not even sure how it runs on Windows 10, but it does. It works just fine. Plus, I'm just accessing this machine online anyways, as it just lives up in my loft because it's just too big to live down here. But yeah, cheap little card. Here you have a PCI slot, another 2 PCI. Actually, how many are there? Say that, yeah, there's 3 PCI 3.0 slots. One is by yeah, as you can see, 16. It says down there, slot 3, yeah, and it even has power ratings, which is cool. So you can do SLI if you wanted to. Not really, you don't really need to do that anymore. But if you need 2 graphics cards to do your crypto mining and all that, you can do that. Here there's a I think that's a times 4 slot. My goodness. Here there would be a SATA controller or a SAS controller if you bought that from Dell, or you can buy it separately. I will need to get that card as the onboard one here. This is just a SATA controller, an inbuilt one, embedded. Even though it says SAS there, it does not support SAS, the onboard one. And Dell is kind of sneaky with this, but when you put your boot hard drive or SSD in it, you need to have the drivers for the controller to work. Because if you don't have the drivers for the controller, this thing doesn't boot off of these in the bays like I showed you there. You have to put them in a set where the DVD drive would be, that spare 5 1/4 space. There's a SATA controller, not a SATA controller, my goodness, SATA port and a SATA power cable there, and you have to plug in your SSDs there, and then install your drivers if you forget to do that beforehand, which is annoying, but that's how it is, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm gonna buy a card for this at some point, because this is only 3 gigs per second, which is like, that's literally, I don't even remember when most computers of this era already had SATA 3. This is on SATA 2 if I remember correctly, this inbuilt controller here. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop using this entirely and buy that card, as you should if you're using this daily as a main computer. Right, so enough of blabbering about that. Here's your 8 RAM slots for your first CPU. I have 32 gigs of RAM in here. I actually bought this machine for 130 pounds or something, and it came with this RAM and the CPU, which is a Xeon E5 2687W. Oh, what a mouthful. It's a 150 watt CPU, and it runs at around 3 gigahertz at base, and no, that's not right. It runs at 3.7 on turbo and 2.7 ish or lower on just as a base. It gets hella hot even when you're doing downloads. So just imagine two of these together. If you had, if I remove the cover here, you see you'll see the socket. There you go. Never been used. There's that back side of the cover. So yeah, if just imagine your other cooler would be right here. This thing is farting out all of its hot air right into that cooler, and that thing is already running hot. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty hot back there. And it is not that loud as you guys might think. Oh, workstation, oh, it's going to be very loud and scary. Not really. It's actually it's all right. It's very tolerable. You do hear the fans ramp up more than on most computers, as it's got a pretty aggressive fan curve on this, but considering how hot the CPU runs, I think it's totally adequate. It's a okay cooling setup. It could be better if they had a rear fan here, but yeah. You can now see these two extra slots here, where we'd have the locking pin, like these two down here. This would be for your second CPU, if I'm correct. Yeah, slot 1, CPU 2, and that's why you have an 8-pin up here, and two 6-pins down here, and one 8-pin here. Yeah. So you can put whatever graphics card you like in this thing. It's gonna be bottlenecked if you put something like above a 3060, because that's how it is with this thing. It's not that its performance is kind of like a really slow, not really slow, but like a slightly slower Ryzen 5 3600, which is like which was my old CPU. I have put a GTX 1070 in this thing instead of this card, just to give it a try it out. It ran quite well, I must say. The 1070 ran with no issues in here. Only issue I was having with this machine was that it just did not it was not very the CPU would get a bit too hot for my liking when just doing regular things like downloads and things. But that's just because it's a high watt CPU, high wattage, so can't really do much about that, unfortunately. If I want all the performance out of it, I could just put it on balance mode or whatever, power saver, but it really just kicks this thing in the nuts, and that's not really good for it. That's not really good if you want optimum performance. So yeah, bummer, but oh well. Yeah, I might actually put another CPU and RAM and some more RAM in here, maybe 64 gigs. If I end up obviously doing more stuff with it, because right now all I do is use it for virtual machines, and I'm trying to learn on how to do a sort of Minecraft server and a BeamNG server based off of this thing. So if I can get that up and online, I'll probably share it on my channel so you guys can play on it if you want. But yeah, we'll see about that. With this machine, there's there's actually a ton of upgrades you can do. This machine supports 512 gigs of RAM, which is insane. Well, for me at least, because I'm just your regular bog standard PC user. But 512 gigs of RAM, and you can have. This has the most high-end CPU of its range, which is the 2687W, which is an 8-core 16-thread beast. Which I mentioned the clock speeds earlier, but you can also have version 2 CPUs in here. So that's pretty cool. They did that with a BIOS update. They just decided to support an entire generation of CPUs. which is nice of Dell, I must say. That's not really like them, like of them to be that consumer friendly, but yeah. And right now for storage, I have a. Let me get it up here. I can show you guys. Goodness me, heavy, very very heavy. It's just a very cheap 128 gig. A 128 gig Patriot SSD I got from Amazon. I know, not very special, but it's what I had on hand at the moment. I'm definitely gonna swap this out because it's a tiny little SSD. I can't put anything on this. It's basically only good as a boot drive, which is okay if I wasn't doing what I was doing. Like if I was just doing a file server, for example, I could even just use a hard drive. I don't even need this thing because I will just be on when I need it. And in here, what do I have in here? I think it's a 500 gig hard drive. Yeah. Yep. Just a SATA 500 gig hard drive. Yeah. Seagate thing. 5400 RPM. Pretty sure it is. Let's see up there somewhere. It's out of a HP. Pretty sure it's out of a HP. Yeah. HP. Yeah. These are just SATA drives. In here, like I was trying to mention earlier, I'm not sure if you can see that. Come on, phone. There you go. Sorry about that. My phone just decided to take a crap. As I was saying, here is your SAS connectors. Now, there's a lot of confusion with this machine and its older brother, its newer brother, the 7910, as to whether it actually supported SATA drives like this and like the SSD in there, because Dell wasn't very clear that the onboard one supports SATA only. They said that you had to have a SATA controller card or SAS controller card added in to make your hard drives work, which is bogus, because the hard drives work just fine. They just don't do RAID, because this, I don't think this thing really supports RAID, the onboard controller, which is a shame, but it is what it is. If I want to do it, I can just get that card like I mentioned earlier. So you just got those 4 SAS connectors there, which are backwards compatible with SATA, which is why these fit in. They look the same, but they are missing these 2 little indents, like on these 2 little notches there, like SATA has, I think. Yeah, that's right. Oh no, it's not those ones. It's these. These are flat on SAS drives and SAS connectors. So yeah, I gotta do some more research into all of this, because this is the first machine I've had which has all of the SAS stuff here, which is very interesting to me. But yeah, if you guys could leave a comment down below if you know any better about it, I would appreciate it very much. You can see the back of the machine there. Back here is just basically the power supply bridge, which is as the power supply has a slot connector, as you saw. It needs the bridge to branch the cables out into the motherboard and to the PCIe graphics power up there and down there, and then your SATA power or SAS power, whatever you call it. Yeah, so that's about it for this machine. As you see, for now it's just gonna live up in my loft because I just don't have enough space down here to keep this humongous beast. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Somehow my the foot came off there. I'd say if you are in need for one of these, for a machine that's in the $200 £200/£200 mark, and you don't care about the heat, and you don't care about the sound isn't that bad anyways, but if you don't, as long as you don't care about the power bill as well, because these are hungry beasts, these are a very good buy. These and the HP series, the HP Z series, the 600, the 620, the 800 and the 820 and newer versions as well, if you can get one for a good price. So yeah, this was just a quick overview of this thing. I plan to do some more videos on it, just to show you the actual whole software side of things on what I've done. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave a like, comment if you want to, subscribe if you want to, as usual. Nobody's forcing you. And have a great day, guys. See you around.